be starting my YouTube channel. This is episode 1 of the pink bedroom because, hello, my room is pink. My room is entirely pink. Maybe as I keep doing videos, I'll give you guys a little room tour. But get your coffee, get your tea, no makeup, pajamas, and get cozy because we are about to talk all about college, all about my college experience because it's coming to an end, you guys. I wanted to make a video because I'm 22 years old, and anyone who's in high school or anyone who's about to turn 18 and graduate and they don't know what to do, I would have loved to have a video explaining like why community college could be a great avenue for some people, because I never thought that I would be going to community college. I think when we think about the college experience, we think about what we see in movies and on TV, and it's like the frat parties and all the boys and all the girls and just like everyone, and like your first time away from home and away from authority and like all of the things, and just like freedom finally, and for so long in my life. And we're not gonna get into like my kind of life. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my journey, but it's a little depressing, and this video is not going to be sad. It's going to be happy, and because I want people to watch it and feel empowered to go and get their education after years of kind of putting it off and putting it off. So when I was small, obviously everyone grows up watching TV and movies and the whole teen young adult experience at college and how fun it looks, and I always knew in the back of my mind that college was a way out for me and the situation that I was going through. So I always knew, I was like, yes, like college is my out. So in high school I did very well, and I was like book, like all the time, book, like always in the books, hitting the books, studying. But I did have an amazing time in high school. I remember people telling me like high school was not gonna be good and like worst 4 years of your life. I had an amazing time in my first 2 years of high school because I had just like one of the most amazing friend groups ever, and I'm still friends with all of them today. Love them. Don't know if I would have an amazing time in high school without them. They were a major part of that experience. Unfortunately, the beginning of my junior year, the pandemic hit. I'm a pandemic graduate. No prom, no real graduation, no senior trip. I didn't get any of them, and I think it kind of really stunted me, as well as like not even academically, just like in my personal life, it really stunted me, as it did to many people, especially young people, because I was like 16 years old, and like the whole world kind of changed before our eyes, and I've never experienced anything like that before. I don't think anyone has. So it was so much going on, and there was not an outlet to kind of deal with it or like talk to anyone about it, because you know we were all globally going through something at the same time. And yeah, it just really like stopped me and like certain dreams that I had, because my like mindset that I was like, yes, like I'm gonna live that teen, college, young adult experience, all went out the window. It just all went out the window. I couldn't go to college anymore because the pandemic ruined a lot of things for me personally. So I just kind of like the first 2 years of high school, I was like, yes, on it. Like I knew I was gonna do good so I can go to a good college. And then the last 2 years I really neglected school because I had to work full time, which was, I always worked. I've always been kind of financially independent because I've started working since I was 12, so I always had little money in my pocket. That's just what my mother raised me to do. And I'm not rich, so I just always had to work since I was young. But when I hit 16, it was like, whoa. It was like full on adult, full on financial independence, full on taking care of everyone in my life, paying bills, doing the adult shit at 16. And I was like, oh my god. So because of that, I neglected school and all of those things. And I don't regret doing that because I didn't know how to juggle it. I don't think any teenager would know how to juggle that. School and working 40, sometimes 60-hour weeks. Like, as a teenager, no, like, I don't think, I did the best that I could with what kind of knowledge I was given. And when I was at graduation, one of my advisors was so shocked that I wasn't going to college. She was like, why? Why? You're an amazing student. So disappointed in me. And it's like, I was like, I didn't have any help. Like, nobody told me anything, you know? Like, there was no college advisor at my high school. There was no, like, kind of avenue. Yeah, we had an advisor, and, like, she was, like, very adamant on going to university. And I got into university, and I ended up going for about, like, a week. And I had to drop out because I couldn't handle that work-life balance as a teenager. I just couldn't do it. And I wish someone would have told me, hey, community college. But nobody told me about community college ever in my high school career. Nobody. You know, if I'm gonna be honest, like, if people were talking about community college, it was to put it down. Honestly, it was to put people who went to community college down and make them feel like they weren't smart enough and they weren't good enough because they didn't go to university. So I had a stigma about community college in my mind because I was like, oh no, like, I have to go straight to university, like, I can't end up at community college. Which is like, first of all, shut the fuck up. Thank you. In order for me to kind of outgrow that, I had to, like, kind of, how do I say, not hit rock bottom, but I had to think about my life in a way that I was, like, fully independent, taking care of a family. I was making my own money. I was making my own way in this world. And I had to stop and I had to look around at my life and I had to be like, why am I doing this? Obviously, I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it, like, for all those reasons, like obligations and stuff like that. But I'm like, why am I doing this? Don't I want more? Don't I deserve more? And I really had to just be like, fuck this. I'm gonna go back. I don't give a shit what I have to do, what I have to sacrifice. I'm gonna go back to school. And now we're gonna take it back to when I graduated high school and I went straight into university. I went straight into university for about a week, realized I could not do it. Like, working and going all the way to university, my university was in Jersey City because I'm in New Jersey right now. That's where I've lived basically my entire life. I had to go from where I'm living in Jersey all the way to Jersey City. I don't drive. I don't plan on driving ever. That's just not something in the cards for me. So it was very hard for me to do that and then work full time and, like, all of the things. I was like, no, I can't do it. Plus, I didn't like the environment. I didn't like the environment of that university. I just didn't like it. I made friends the first week though. Because I've always been a very extroverted person, very social. I'm always the one to go up to people first, to introduce myself, like, hey, I'm Nikki, like, you want to be friends? Usually it works out. Sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. So that wasn't, like, the reason why I was like, this is not for me. It was mostly because I was like, why am I doing this if I'm already making money and, like, doing the things that adults already do? And I had to, like what I was saying prior, get out of that mindset and be like, no, I want something different. So when I was 20, I took 2 years off of college. So when I was 20, I was like, I was in a shitty relationship. I was in a shitty environment. I didn't really have much people around me at that time. And I was like, fuck this. I can change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And I was like, no, I'm 20 years old. Like, this cannot be my life. This cannot be my life. So I went back to my high school. Hi, I was like, hi, can I get my transcript? Can I get my forms? Can I get all the things? And I went straight to my community college, did the application, got in. It was actually very simple. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this. Started right away. I'm not gonna say my 2 years that have now ended, because tomorrow's my last day of school, was a piece of cake. It was not a piece of cake. I had to do all my gen ed classes, and again, I did not really do my work the last 2 years of my high school experience. So I was kind of thrown into college, not doing like schooling for about 4 years. So it was like, and I always made pretty good grades. I'm not like the smartest person in the world. I don't think anybody's like the smartest person in the world, but I always did make kind of good grades. So I went in there, did my gen ed classes. I failed a lot, but I kept trying. I just kept going and I kept going because I was like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. And I didn't. And now I have my math final tomorrow, which I'm very nervous about because it's the second time I'm taking math. Because my first year I took math, failed. This is my second time. We're trying a little bit harder because you just gotta keep trying. You just gotta keep going. And I wish someone had told me at 18 that it was okay to fail, and as long as you kept getting back up. Because I was so used to this mindset that I was winning in life because I was doing all of these things like an adult. Bitch, you are not an adult. You are not an adult. And even when I was an adult, like my first couple years in my 20s, I was like so miserable. I was like, oh my god. Now I've reached a point in my life where I'm like, throw all the notions about what being an adult is supposed to be and like what my college experience is supposed to be out the fucking window, because nobody's experience is exactly like mine, and mine is not like anybody else's, and that's okay, you know? So I would say, like, anyone who's in high school and 18, about to go to university, you're on the fence, you're like, I don't have the money for this, I don't want to take out loans, I have family to support, I have shit to get done. If you're kind of in the same boat that I was, please check out your local community college. Please do it, because you get all of your general education requirements out of the way in the first 2 years, and then you go to university after the 2 years. And now in the fall, I'm going to university, and I'm very happy about that. And I'm not going to university just to go. I'm going because I genuinely feel like I need to be educated. I can do things on my own. I have access to the internet. I have access to a lot of resources. I can learn on my own. But the thing is, that degree, that knowledge that you obtain within an institution, it cannot be taken from you. It cannot be taken from you at all. And you're learning from people who are older than you, because most of the professors are older. They have lived experience, they have life experience, they have knowledge that you would only dream about having. And I've had professors that I've learned so much from, and I've had professors that I've learned nothing from, you know? And I think that's kind of what's important about college, because yeah, I'm gonna be honest, at community college, it was not like the experience what you see on movies. I wouldn't say I had that experience, but I did have a really good experience because I got to be in clubs and I got to meet people, I got to make friends, I got to hang out, I got to do a lot of things with so many different people, because there are people who are teenagers, there are people in their 20s, there are people in their 30s. Sometimes I made friends with someone who was in their 50s, and all those friendships are really rewarding, and I wouldn't have been able to make all those different types of friends if I wasn't at community college, and learn all those types of lessons if I wasn't at community college, because community college is a mix of so many different people who already have careers and are going for another degree, people who are just starting out their lives fresh out of high school, people who are parents, people who have obligations, but people who want to change careers. There's so many stories I have heard, and the one main point that I have always heard throughout all the different people that I met at community college is I wanted to try again. I wanted to start again. That's the moral of the story here.